How's it going? I'm Ryan. Today I'm going to go over the two trades that I took on NQ. First trade was a loss. Second trade was a nice win. Brought me to positive overall on the day. Did have a little mishap. So 2 out of my 3 accounts are green on the day. One of my accounts is red on the day. We'll go over why that happened. First, let's talk about what I was watching. So coming into the day, we're at all-time highs. NQ's all the way rallied way above yesterday's range, even had a gap up in the after hours. So one thing that I was looking at is this pre-market range, and if we break to the downside, do we come down and fill this gap? We have that same setup on ES as well. So ES had a big run up, all-time highs, had a gap up. A little bit more support up here for ES. So really I was looking at NQ as potential play being a little bit weaker, having not much market structure to kind of rely on up at these all-time highs in terms of support if it started to fall. So waited right out of the gate. We broke below pre-market low and dropped and filled that gap pretty much in the first 2 minutes, 1 minute of the day. So that was kind of out of the picture. At this point, what I'm looking for now is some sort of lower high and then look for continuation. So we get that here, and this is my first trade. So we come down, make a low. ES hit the previous day low and started, or previous day high, excuse me, the high of the previous day range, and started to bounce. NQ did not quite get there. So what I was looking for is potential lower high and then continuation down to that previous day high. We came up, we approached this EMA. We have some signs of weakness in the price action, and that is when I entered short, is on one of these candles. I think on this one, after these 2 minute candles closed, I think I entered short right here on the beginning of this candle. My stop was above these wicks right here, or kind of right at these wicks. So I tried to enter close to the EMA, stopped just a little above it, and my take profit was at 620 right down here. Now, we came up, we moved a little higher, and it stopped me out. That's going to happen. What I was looking for is, a lower high here in continuation. We went higher and then kind of chopped around sideways. So I got stopped out on the first move. It was a little bit wider of a stop than I thought, so I probably should have been a little bit more patient, gotten in closer to that EMA. With how fast and how big of moves NQ was making, I had about a 30-point stop, and I thought it was 20 points. I just did the math wrong. So I took a little bit bigger of a loss than I initially wanted to. It was about 300, and I think it was like 340, just under 360, or excuse me, just under 350, I believe. From there, I waited a few minutes. I was still kind of looking at a short. I was still thinking that we had lower to go. And another reason that you can see here is because ES rallied all the way up and started to hit that pre-market low again, and also kind of stayed, I guess didn't quite get to that 200 EMA. But I was watching to see if ES rejected off that 200 EMA and or like the EMA stacked along that pre-market high. So as we start to look weak here on ES, rejecting, unable to close above that pre-market high, or excuse me, pre-market low. I apologize, pre-market low. And then we get some weak price action on NQ as well in here. And then we failed to hold on to that EMA right there. So once we broke below, I entered short again. Everything was looking pretty solid. We kind of chopped around. Then we broke lower. And then we finally got that flush down. So I hit my take profit. So this trade was quite significantly bigger than the first loss, so I made 240 on the day, even with a about $350 loss in the first place. So solid win, and looking pretty much at like a 2-to-1 risk reward on that first trade as well as on the second trade. So it was nice that I had one play out and allowed me to be green on the day. The issue that I mentioned earlier is these two accounts are green 240. This account is down 540. So let's talk about how that happened. I had a daily loss limit set at $500 on this account, and I didn't have it on the other two. So I must have put this on this PA a while ago, and then when I got these two fresh PAs, I never put a daily loss limit on them. So what happened, if you look here, I entered the exact same trade that I did on these, entered that exact same trade, and it didn't hit my stop loss, but what it happened is it wicked up and it hit my daily loss limit and it cut me out. So my stop loss was above this wick right here. We got kind of close on this little move up, but we didn't hit my stop loss, and that ended up being a winning trade. But it was a losing trade on this account, and it's a little bit of a bummer because this account was already behind my other two by about $200. I started it with about a $200 deficit because I had some losses prior to activating my other PAs. So coming into the challenge, or coming into these trading these PAs, this was already at about $200 deficit. And then today, what should have been a $240 green day is now a $540 red day because my daily loss limit stopped me out. So frustrated with that, definitely. Definitely felt some emotions thinking about, do I just take some trades on this account? It's already, down so much. Do I just say screw it and try to make it back and kind of catch up with these? Yeah, pretty upset that happened. So what I did is I updated my daily loss limit. I have a daily loss limit on all of them, but it's set to 1,000. The reason is I can take 2 losses, and that's going to be about $500. I haven't been going on tilt lately, and I don't want to jinx myself, but I haven't been trading like an idiot, for lack of a better way to describe it. I've been actually sticking to my rules and taking pretty good trades, and my performance has been reflecting that. So I'm not really so worried about the daily loss limit. I'm trading with a stop loss. My stop loss will limit my loss regardless, right? I don't feel like I need to have the system lock me out at, especially 500. Because like I said, today I took a little bit bigger loss, around 340 or so. If I see another setup and I take it, that doesn't even really allow me much of a stop loss at all if I get cut off at 500. And that's what you saw today. It stopped me out at less than 15 points. About 16 points. And a 16-point stop loss is pretty tight on NQ. So yeah, it's a bummer. And that move is continuing. You can see we got to even drop down. I was actually considering re-entering on like the EMA test. We got it on ES as well. ES might have been a better setup right in here, down to that previous day high. So yeah, I was considering entering another trade on this account and trying to make it back because I'm $1,000 behind my other 2 accounts, which is just, it's frustrating for sure. But I'm not going to take another trade. I'm not going to do anything crazy. I'm just going to keep doing what I've been doing. It's a bummer. I learned daily loss limit. I think if you're trading discipline, is not necessary. If you're trading discipline, you don't need somebody else to stop you. So yeah, a little bummed because I forgot that I had that on there. I wasn't even thinking about it. Initially, when it stopped me out, I thought I got liquidated, and I started to panic a little bit because I thought I just lost all my PAs. But luckily, that was not the case. And luckily, my other 2 accounts didn't have it, right? Didn't have it, and it worked out perfect. So yeah, it's bittersweet, right? It's bittersweet because 2/3 of me is stoked. 2/3 of my accounts were climbing another $240 on the day. My other account just beaten down, man. It's brutal. It was already at a deficit when I started, and now it's. But you know what I told myself is if I blew this account, I would have to start at an eval, which would be at 50K. I would have to get to 3K, activate it, pay the activating fee, and then make another 280 from there just to be where I am right now. So even with all the setbacks, even with the stupid stop out today causing me from having a good green day to a big red day, even all these things considered, it's better than blowing my account. It's better than going on tilt. It's better than setting myself back a month plus to get a new eval, pass the eval, catch up to where this one is. So yeah, not stoked. I was getting this account up pretty good. It was like 900. Now it's only a little under 300. So it's tough. It's tough to take such a step back. But if I have 2 good trading days, we can make this up, right? If I have 2 good days, that loss will be made up, and we'll be right back where we were. And if we have 2 good days on this, we're damn close to a payout. So don't be stupid. Don't overreact. was a bummer for sure. It's lessened by the fact that my other 2 accounts didn't get stopped out and the trade did work. So I feel vindicated in the fact that the trade worked. But I feel a little salty, right? It's for some reason the bad always kind of outweighs the good, even though I had 2 good accounts and 1 bad. Anyways, a lot of rambling. Basically, just saying that today was I'm counting it as a green day, dude. I'm not counting that as that's some bullshit. I'm not counting that as a red day, because like I said, the trade worked, and 2 out of 3 accounts it was a green day. So we're green, dude. We're not counting that. That's a green day. That's a good day. Good trade. All right, that's all I got. We'll be back. We'll be looking to keep this account alive, man. It's taking some hits, whereas these are just climbing, bro. They're doing so well. So yeah, even if I just get a payout on 2 accounts while this one's catching up, we're happy with that. So that's what we're ultimately shooting for, and that's what we're going for, and that's what we'll do. Peace out. Hope you have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow. Try to wrap up this week strong. All right, peace.